Close your eyes. Let the hum of the modern world fade gently away. And imagine yourself nestled beneath a thatched roof, wrapped in a thin woolen blanket, the air cold and still. It is the early morning in a quiet medieval village. The year is somewhere between the 12th and 14th century, a time when life moved not by the ticking of clocks, but by the light of the sun and the rhythm of the land. Also, the rooster crows. Before the faintest blue cracks across the sky, the world is wrapped in shadows. A chill lingers in the air, biting slightly at the nose and fingers. You are still in bed, if it can be called that, a straw-stuffed sack atop a low wooden frame, or perhaps the hard floor near the warmth of the hearth. The cottage is one room. Stone walls, a timber roof. The scent of ash and old wood lingers from the fire that burned low through the night. Your family sleeps nearby. A child shifts. A soft snore hums from the corner. The stillness of this hour feels ancient, like the village itself is holding its breath. Then the smallest stirrings, a pop of a log in the hearth, the faint rustle of a linen tunic being pulled overhead. The mother of the house, usually the first to rise, steps quietly across the room. Her feet make soft sounds against the packed earth floor as she reaches for kindling to rekindle the fire. She leans down with practiced movements, a few dried twigs, the remnants of yesterday's ash, and a single spark from flint and steel. A glow, a flicker, and soon a thin golden flame grows. Light begins to dance gently against the walls. You rise slowly. The air is cold, but there is a comfort in routine. Outside, it is still dark. The stars haven't yet disappeared. There is no rush, only a steady movement. You dress in wool, coarse but warm, brown, gray, undyed, colors of the earth. As you pull on your tunic, you can hear the distant sound of an ox shifting in the byre, a soft moo. Some families keep their animals inside the cottage during the winter for warmth. Others build lean-tos attached to the home, thin wooden walls separating man and beast. The smells mingle, not unpleasantly, just the scent of life, of animals, of wood, and of work. You move toward the fire. The warmth is welcome. A pot of porridge will soon be set to cook. Oats from the last harvest, water from the well, perhaps a pinch of salt if it was spared. Outside, the world begins to whisper. The wind through the bare trees, the slow murmur of the stream beyond the fields, and then the soft and familiar sound, the crow of the rooster. It is still not light, not fully, but the horizon hints at change, a softening of black into blue. You step outside. Your breath clouds in the air. The world smells of damp earth and chimney smoke. The village is still asleep, mostly, but a few cottages glow faintly from within. A dog barks once. A gate creaks. The path is muddy, uneven, familiar. It leads past neighboring huts where other peasants, laborers, women, children, the elderly, are beginning to stir. Above, the sky begins to shift. Stars fade gently, and that low, pre-dawn light glows faintly at the edges of the world, the kind of light that makes everything feel still sacred. In this moment, the peasant is not burdened by history or hardship. There is only breath and frost and a rhythm as old as time. No one speaks loudly here. Voices are hushed. Hands move by habit to fetch water, to gather firewood, to feed the chickens. There is a peace in the repetition. The village has no street lamps, no distant traffic, only the wind, the stream, the rustle of straw. Children rise slowly, rubbing sleep from their eyes, pulling on woolen cloaks. A woman feeds the geese. An old man limps past with a wooden pail, heading to the well. A young boy chases a chicken with soft laughter. Life has not yet fully begun, but it is close. As the sun finally begins to peak above the trees, light spills across the frozen field in soft, golden ribbons. The rooftops glisten, a thin veil of smoke rises into the air. You walk back toward your cottage. Inside, the porridge simmers, the fire crackles, and the day is waiting. But for now, it is still early. The moment lingers, the world is quiet, and the village breathes. Now. Its warm glow stretches outward across the small stone floor, casting slow-moving shadows that dance along the walls. In this humble, medieval cottage, it is both a source of comfort and necessity, the very heart of the home. You sit beside the hearth, wrapping your cloak tighter against your body. The morning is cold. The air still holds the chill of night, but the flickering light feels like a gentle promise that warmth will come, that the day will begin as it always has. The woman of the house leans over a low wooden table, placing a small earthen pot above the fire. Karnataka. It is filled with water drawn from the well, collected in the quiet moments before first light. Gustis. There are no faucets, no rush of modern plumbing, only the slow, steady work of preparing each piece of the day. Klare. In the pot, she stirs dried oats. Perzwa hisust. The grains are from last season's harvest, stored carefully in sacks, kept dry in a corner of the room. Klare. Hisust ke gust. She moves slowly, without words, the wooden spoon gliding through the liquid with rhythmic care. Klare. A pinch of salt may be added, perhaps a shred of dried fruit, if any remains. The rest of the family begins to rise now. A small child whimpers, rubbing sleep from their eyes. An elder groans softly, shifting beneath a woolen blanket before sitting upright. One by one they move toward the fire, not hurriedly, no one rushes here, but with a gentle, sleepy pull, as if the hearth is calling them home. The floor is cold underfoot. There are no socks, only rough leather shoes or, if worn thin, bare feet. You can feel the earth beneath you, solid and familiar, a quiet companion to every morning. In one corner, a wooden basin is set down. Water is poured, chilly and clear, for washing. A few dabs to the face, the neck, the hands. This is not a bath but a daily ritual, enough to feel presentable, to begin the work of the day with dignity. Above the fire, the smoke curls upward and escapes through a small opening in the roof. There is no chimney in the modern sense. The walls darken with soot. The smell of smoke clings to everything, your tunic, your bedding, your hair. But you do not mind. It is the scent of life. Soon, the small cottage hums with quiet activity. Someone repairs a broken strap on a sandal. Another folds a piece of cloth. The eldest son ties back his hair with a leather cord. The mother adds another log to the fire. Each gesture is quiet, soft, habitual. No one speaks loudly. Voices, when used, are low and melodic. Not from fatigue, but from a respect for the rhythm of mourning. You help arrange the wooden bowls. They are hand-carved, smooth with years of use. There's no silverware here, just wooden spoons, passed down or carved in idle winter hours. The porridge is ladled slowly, shared equally. It steams gently, and its scent fills the room with the earthy comfort of grain and smoke. This breakfast is not a feast. It is not rushed. It is an anchor, a way to begin the day with warmth in the belly, strength in the limbs, and the familiar rituals of survival and grace. You sit with your family. The fire crackles softly. You eat in silence, save for the scraping of spoon against bowl. Outside, the morning birds have begun to call. A new light creeps in through the cracks in the wood and the cloth that covers the small window. It paints golden streaks across the floor. The shadows shift again. A rooster crows in the distance. A cow lowly moos. The village begins to hum with life. But inside this single cottage, there is stillness, a few minutes more of calm before the day's labors truly begin. The fire is fed again. It must be kept alive, for warmth, for cooking, for life. The ashes from the night before are swept gently to the side. A bundle of herbs may be added to the edge of the flame, not for food, but for scent, for comfort, for a brief moment of beauty. You rise slowly. Your belly is warm. Your hands are steady. You glance around the room. Your home, modest, worn, imperfect, and enough. The hearth glows behind you as you step toward the door. Outside, the world is waiting. Mist-covered fields, stone paths, clucking hens. But before you leave, you take one final look at the fire. It is still burning, quiet, constant, like the heart of your people.
The door
Like
creaks open.
the rhythm of the earth, the outside world stretches before you in a hush of silver mist. It's still early. The sun has only just risen, and the fog lies thick over the fields like a soft woolen blanket. Your breath rises in quiet clouds as you step out into the chill. The path beneath your feet is uneven, pressed dirt and stray stones, damp from the night's dew. Each step is slow, mindful. Your cloak pulls tighter against your shoulders, the fabric already gathering droplets from the wet air. The fields are still. No birds call, no carts roll by. Only the soft rustling of branches and the occasional cluck of a distant hen pierce the morning silence. In your hands, you carry tools, a worn wooden hoe wrapped with twine, and a small basket tucked beneath your arm. Simple, useful, unchanged by time. They are passed from one season to the next, just as tasks are passed from one generation to another. You walk past the edge of the village now, past the last of the thatched cottages, past a slumbering ox in its pen, past a water trough with a thin sheet of ice still clinging to its surface. And then the land opens. A wide, open field stretches before you. The soil is dark, moist, and rich from years of careful tending. It has been turned and worked and rested by your people for centuries, not owned, but lived upon. Rented, perhaps, under the watchful eye of a lord, but the land remembers your family better than any ledger ever will. You begin your work in silence. The hoe cuts slowly into the earth, not violently, just a rhythmic pressing, a gentle turning, one section at a time. The fog moves through the rows like a spirit, soft, formless, always present. Your breath matches the tempo of your task, up, down, up, down. Your back bends, your fingers tighten, the muscles in your legs begin to warm with the repetition. But your mind is quiet. This is a kind of meditation, not by design, but by habit. Here in the stillness of the morning fog, there is no worry about time, only the land, and the rhythm of your own quiet effort. Across the field, other shapes begin to emerge. Neighbors, fellow villagers, men and women moving through the mist, their forms shadowed and soft. No one speaks. They nod in passing, not out of coldness but mutual understanding. Everyone knows the labor. Everyone respects the silence. The soil smells rich and clean, earthy, damp, real. Worms wiggle in the loosened dirt. Beetles scurry away from the turned rows. Each patch you work feels like uncovering a memory, an ancient connection between person and place. You pause to breathe. The air is sharper now. The fog is beginning to lift just slightly. Golden light touches the tops of the trees beyond the far field. You can see the faint outline of the manor house on the distant hill, large, stone, watching. But you do not look long. The manor is not your world. The field is. You move to another row, wiping your brow with a worn cloth. Your hands are dirt-streaked, your nails blackened. But you feel no discomfort, only the soft ache of exertion, the quiet strength of habit. Time passes differently out here. There are no bells, no clocks, just the changing shape of the light, the smell of the air, and the feel of soil beneath your fingers. You notice a robin in a nearby tree. Its red breast glows gently in the morning light. It chirps once. You smile faintly. Behind you, the village begins to stir more fully. You can hear the creak of wagon wheels, the clink of a milk pail, a woman calling softly to her child. But here in the field, the world is still yours. You work until your body tells you to rest. You lean your tool against a low stone wall and sit. The stones are cool, slick with dew. You take a small piece of bread from your pocket, hard but welcome, and chew slowly. A sip of water from a leather flask, a breath, a moment to look around. The mist is now thinning. Light filters through the branches above. The field sparkles faintly, with leftover droplets, and every sound feels distant, wrapped in softness. You will return to this spot many times today, to dig, to harvest, to breathe. But for now, you simply sit in the fog, your body warm from effort, your spirit gently grounded by the earth beneath your feet. Stone wall. The air has warmed slightly, but the dew still clings to your cloak. With the basket under one arm and the hoe in your other hand, you begin your quiet walk back toward the village. The path is well worn, lined with trodden grass and the soft edges of field stones. You've walked it hundreds of times, in frost, in rain, in sun, and it feels as familiar as your own breath. As you near the first row of cottages, the village begins to come alive, not suddenly, but in slow, stretching motions. Like someone gently waking from a dream, a rooster crows again, closer this time. A child's laugh rings out faintly from a nearby yard. You catch the warm scent of baking bread drifting from a clay oven tucked beside a wooden hut. The door of a nearby cottage opens, creaking slowly. An elderly woman steps out, wrapped in a thick shawl, holding a wooden broom. She sweeps the doorstep with small, careful strokes. Each movement seems part of a ritual, quiet and unhurried. Smoke rises gently from rooftops now. The air smells of oak and peat, mingled with the earthy scent of livestock pens. You pass a fenced yard where a young girl scatters grain for a handful of chickens. She hums to herself a simple melody, something she's likely heard every morning since she could walk. Nearby, a man hauls water in heavy wooden buckets suspended from a yoke across his shoulders. His face is calm, though worn. He pauses to nod at you, his breath still visible in the cool air. Further ahead, a cart creaks down the lane. Its wooden wheels bump rhythmically over stones as a farmer guides it slowly forward. In the cart, straw, a bundle of firewood, a sack of onions. A wool-clad boy rides beside him, legs dangling, blinking sleepily against the rising sun. Each house you pass bears marks of care and age, a patch in the thatch, a carved lintel over a doorway, herbs strung to dry beneath the eaves, and at each doorway someone appears to greet the day, to check the weather, to begin. The village moves with gentle unity, not all at once, but like the unfolding petals of a flower warmed by light. You pass the smithy, where a low clang echoes from within. The blacksmith is already at work, though not loudly. His hammer taps gently against metal, not forging weapons, but hinges, tools, horseshoes. The forge glows faintly, orange and steady. Next door, a weaver unrolls her wool. She pulls fibers slowly, twisting and feeding them onto a drop spindle. The thread coils between her fingers as if it's always known the way. A trio of boys runs past you, barefoot, chasing a dog. Their laughter carries down the lane, light and easy. A nearby mother scolds them softly, though she smiles as they pass. You pause at the well, wiping your brow again. You lower the bucket and hear it splash deep below. The rope creaks as you lift. The water is clear and cold, and you take a long, slow drink. Behind you, a woman draws water too, balancing her pail on one hip. She's quiet. You nod to one another in that wordless way country folk do. Acknowledgement, recognition, shared rhythm. The church bell rings once, not loudly, but enough to let everyone know the time has turned. Not a call to rush, just a reminder that the sun is climbing and the day has begun. The chapel sits at the village edge, small, stone with ivy crawling up its side. Its wooden door rests open. A candle flickers inside. Someone walks past with a loaf of bread wrapped in cloth. Another with a basket of herbs. A young woman carries a bundle of firewood in her arms like a child. The road curves and you begin to circle back toward home. Your chores are only just beginning. But your heart feels calm, steady, wrapped in the soft hum of a village gently stirring. It warms the backs of the workers and glints softly off the thatched rooftops. The shadows have shortened. The mist has vanished. You are still in the fields, hands streaked with earth, hair damp with effort. But now comes the pause, a sacred space in the day when the tools are set aside and the body is fed. You wipe your brow and stretch your back, letting the muscles unfurl slowly. Your breath is steady. The land is quiet once more. From the nearby cottages and edges of the village, others are finishing their tasks. You see neighbors straightening from their labor, brushing dust from their tunics, gathering in small knots beneath the trees, porches, and shaded walls. No bell marks the lunch hour. Only the instincts of the body and the rise of the sun overhead. You walk slowly back to your home. The path is warm beneath your feet, lined with the gentle crunch of dry leaves and loose straw. Your steps are unhurried. There is no reason to rush. The midday hour is as much a gift as it is a need. Inside, the hearth still glows, though lower now. The morning fire has been maintained, a quiet companion, always burning. On the table rests a wooden bowl, a thick round of brown bread, and a clay cup filled with watered ale or herbal broth. There is no feast, but there is enough. You sit down with your family or neighbors, whoever has gathered nearby. The room hums softly with the murmurs of shared stories, light laughter, and the clink of wooden utensils against simple pottery. The bread is coarse, made from barley or rye, with grains that crunch beneath your teeth. There may be cheese, sharp, crumbly, made from goat's or sheep's milk. Sometimes a root vegetable stew simmers in a pot nearby, rich with onion, garlic, and herbs from the garden. The flavors are simple, earthy, honest. Each bite is a return to the soil from which it came. Children sit cross-legged near the hearth. One plays with a small cough doll. Another traces patterns into the dirt floor with a stick. A dog naps nearby, its ear twitching in a dream. There is peace here. There is quiet joy. Someone tells a story, not loudly, but with ease. A tale of a goose that escaped. A dream from the night before. A memory of a feast from long ago. Others listen, chewing slowly, nodding, smiling faintly. There is no performance, only presence. Through the open doorway, the village hums. A few birds sing. A woman hums as she kneads dough. A rooster calls again, late and proud. A breeze moves gently through the room, lifting the corner of a linen cloth, fluttering the herbs that hang above the door. After the meal, no one rises right away. There is time for breath, for digestion, for staring into the middle distance with full bellies and soft eyes. You lean back slightly, letting your body relax. Outside, a cart rolls by. The clatter is soft. Two boys carry bundles of kindling on their shoulders, chatting low between them. Someone refills the water jug. Another clears the bowls, stacking them neatly in a wooden crate. A hand brushes crumbs from the table. A child giggles at a nearby chicken strutting across the threshold. Life flows on, not rushed, not idle, just present. The break will end soon. The fields will call again. There will be weaving to resume, oxen to feed, fences to mend. But for now, for just a little longer, there is stillness. There is nourishment. And there is the soft hush of a village wrapped in the warmth of midday. The midday warmth lingers, but now the rhythm of work returns, not in the fields, but in the quiet spaces behind the cottages and near the well-worn streams. Here, labor takes on a different tone. It is no less essential, no less physical, but it carries the weight of care, the kind that sustains a household from within. A woman kneels beside a large wooden tub, sleeves rolled, hands red from water. The basin is filled with linen soaked in ash soap, a simple lye made from fireplace residue and water boiled with herbs. She scrubs rhythmically, not harshly, a circular motion, steady and sure. The cloth slaps gently against the rim of the tub. Steam rises slowly into the sunlight. Children gather nearby, carrying buckets from the stream. Their bare feet splash in the water as they laugh quietly and return to help. The washing takes time. Clothing is precious, rarely replaced, often patched, sometimes passed down through generations. Every stitch is worn with memory. Nearby, a boy mends a leather strap. A girl combs spurs from wool with a set of wooden cards. The breeze carries the scent of wet linen, river stone, and sun-warmed wood. Once washed, the garments are wrung out carefully and laid across hedgerows, fences, and low-hanging branches to dry. White linen flaps gently in the breeze like flags of daily victory, small but sacred. A mother smooths a tunic and hangs it precisely. She steps back to admire the order of the line, not for beauty, but for peace. Clean things, dry things, prepared things. In a nearby cottage, another woman sits by the window with a drop spindle. She draws out thread from a bundle of wool, twisting it between her fingers. The spindle spins slowly like a sleeping clock. The sound is faint, a whisper of fibers brushing against each other, the wood rotating with soft rhythm. This thread will be dyed, woven, maybe bartered, or kept and stitched into something useful, a pouch, a sleeve, a new shirt for a growing child. Older women gather outside with baskets of raw fleece. They pluck bits of hay and seed from it, humming low melodies that drift through the afternoon air. There is no rush, only repetition. The loom stands against one wall, tall, wooden, old. It groans softly as it's used. The weaver lifts and lowers the heddle, sliding the shuttle through the threads with patient grace. She has done this since childhood. Cloth builds row by row, each line like a sentence in a quiet letter to the future. No part of it is wasted. Every edge will be turned into something: a shirt, a napkin, a wrap, a binding. The fire in the hearth is kept low now. The day is warm enough, but a pot of herbs simmers for dying. Wild nettle, elderberry, onion skin. The scent is sharp but familiar. Outside, the wind rustles through hanging linens. A chicken wanders through, ignored. Someone sings to herself, just loud enough for the birds to answer. By the late afternoon, the sun begins to dip slightly in the sky. The shadows return, longer and cooler. The washing is nearly done. The cloth is nearly dry. The loom is stilled. The work of hands has quieted. But the house feels fuller now, prepared, freshened, woven into readiness for evening. You press your hand to the folded cloth. It is soft, still warm from the sun. And you smile, not with pride, but with peace. The sun is lower in the sky now, stretching golden light across the village as evening draws near. Shadows spill long across the earth, and the chill begins to creep back in. You return home slowly, your limbs tired but steady, your mind quieted by the day's rhythm. Inside the cottage, the fire has been stoked once more, its glow soft, its warmth welcome. The scent of herbs and smoke still lingers in the air, mingling now with the smell of something more hearty. Stew, perhaps, or a thick broth simmering low in the pot. A mix of turnip, onion, lentils, or beans, depending on what could be spared. The family has gathered again, not in rush, but in ritual. Someone finishes plucking a bird, another slices root vegetables. The youngest stirs the fire with quiet pride. No one speaks loudly, there is no need. You sit at the low table, rough-hewn and familiar. Wooden bowls are placed with care. The spoons, smooth from years of use, are passed down without thought. This is not a feast, but it is enough. The stew is ladled out, thick, warm, earthy. A heel of bread is broken and passed. Hands are grateful, mouths are hushed. Outside, the sky is turned to violet. A few stars peek out through the veil of dusk. Somewhere a cow lows, a baby cries, a dog gives one soft bark before curling into sleep. Inside the cottage, the meal is nearly done. The bowls are scraped clean, crumbs brushed away. The fire still burns, steady and calm. After supper, there is no rush to begin again. There is only rest. A bit of mending here, a story told there. Not loud or performative, just a thread of memory shared between generations. A tale of a hard winter, a funny thing the geese did, a dream someone once had. Children lean against parents. Elders stretch aching backs. Someone begins to hum. You lean back slightly, the edge of the wall pressing into your shoulders, your feet warm by the fire. The light flickers across the stone floor and dances across the timbers. It is quiet now. Outside, night has fully arrived. A few coals are pushed deeper into the hearth to keep them glowing through the darkness. Blankets are unfurled, thin, patched, shared. There is no candlelight here, no electric glow. Only the fire, only the stars. You lie down near your place by the hearth. The straw mattress is rough but familiar. You wrap yourself in your cloak, already heavy with the scent of smoke and wool. Around you, your family shifts and sighs. A murmur, a prayer, a breath. And slowly the world narrows. The sounds soften, the warmth settles. The fire glows faint and steady. And sleep, quiet, honest, deep, comes like a friend. Tomorrow will come with the same rhythm, the same quiet strength, but for now, the day has ended. And in this little cottage, beneath the thatched roof, beneath the dark sky, surrounded by breath and warmth and earth, returns gently, like a familiar song. There is no alarm, no sudden jolt, only the soft crackle of embers, the creak of timber, the quiet breath of life stirring once again. The sky outside is still a soft gray, and the air carries the hush of early light. Inside the cottage, the fire is coaxed back to life, and the day begins in slow motions, the familiar kind that feel like ritual. Water is fetched, bread is sliced. A pot is placed again above the flame, this time for breakfast. The world outside is still cool. Dew clings to every leaf and blade of grass. The village begins its slow hum. You step outside, and the earth is soft beneath your feet, the path familiar, the air scented with chimney smoke and damp hay. The same animals stir, chickens cluck, oxen groan, and dogs stretch. But today the rhythm feels slightly different. Not because the work is changed, but because your body remembers. The repetition no longer feels like effort, but like inheritance. You help gather kindling, stack wood beside the door, check the coop for eggs, tend to the herbs that dry above the hearth. Everything has its place, its purpose. There is a quiet dignity in the doing. In a nearby cottage, a neighbor waves. She holds a bundle of yarn in one hand and a pail in the other. The road is busier now, not loud but filled with soft exchanges, passing footsteps and the familiar songs of life continuing. You visit the stream to rinse linens or fill a bucket, and the water is cold, clear, fast. Your reflection shimmers for a moment before breaking into ripples. Children pass with laughter, chasing one another along the banks, their feet splashing, their joy uncontained. You smile, not because it's new, but because it's known. Back at home, the loom has new threads stretched across it, and someone begins to weave again. Slow, intentional, rhythmic. The day stretches onward. You repair what's broken, stitch what's worn, tend to what grows. The fields are never far from thought, nor is the hearth, nor the well. Every task feels circular, always returning, always renewing. The sun climbs high, then begins to fall again. Evening arrives, wrapped in gold and lavender. The fire is fed once more. Bread is warmed, a stew is stirred. And as the family gathers again around the table, you feel it, the fullness of a simple day, well lived. Not extraordinary, not urgent, just real, just yours. Night comes with its hush. Blankets are drawn close. A story may be whispered, or perhaps there is only silence, and that is enough. The fire dims, the room settles, and once again you sleep wrapped in wool, in smoke, in the quiet breath of a world untouched by hurry. And tomorrow, the rhythm, like a familiar song. There is no alarm, no sudden jolt, only the soft crackle of embers, the creak of timber, the quiet breath of life, stirring once again. The sky outside is still a soft gray, and the air carries the hush of early light. Inside the cottage, the fire is coaxed back to life, and the day begins in slow motions, the familiar kind that feel like ritual. Water is fetched, bread is sliced, a pot is placed again above the flame, this time for breakfast. The world outside is still cool. Dew clings to every leaf and blade of grass. The village begins its slow hum. You step outside and the earth is soft beneath your feet, the path familiar, the air scented with chimney smoke and damp hay. The same animals stir. Chickens cluck, oxen groan, and dogs stretch. But today, the rhythm feels slightly different. Not because the work has changed, but because your body remembers. The repetition no longer feels like effort, but like inheritance. You help gather kindling, stack wood beside the door, check the coop for eggs, tend to the herbs that dry above the hearth. Everything has its place, its purpose. There is a quiet dignity in the doing. In a nearby cottage, a neighbor waves. She holds a bundle of yarn in one hand and a pail in the other. The road is busier now, not loud, but filled with soft exchanges, passing footsteps, and the familiar songs of life continuing. You visit the stream to rinse linens or fill a bucket, and the water is cold, clear, fast. Your reflection shimmers for a moment before breaking into ripples. Children pass with laughter, chasing one another along the banks, their feet splashing, their joy uncontained. You smile, not because it's new, but because it's known. Back at home, the loom has new threads stretched across it, and someone begins to weave again. Slow, intentional, rhythmic. The day stretches onward. You repair what's broken, stitch what's worn, tend to what grows. The fields are never far from thought, nor is the hearth, nor the well. Every task feels circular, always returning, always renewing. The sun climbs high, then begins to fall again. Evening arrives, wrapped in gold and lavender. The fire is fed once more. Bread is warmed. A stew is stirred. And as the family gathers again around the table, you feel it, the fullness of a simple day well lived. Not extraordinary, not urgent, just real, just yours. Night comes with its hush. Blankets are drawn close. A story may be whispered, or perhaps there is only silence, and that is enough. The fire dims, the room settles, and once again you sleep, wrapped in wool, in smoke, in the quiet breath of a world untouched by hurry. And tomorrow over the rhythm like a woolen cloak, return, soft and steady. The golden light fades into cool blue, then violet, then the hush of indigo dusk. Smoke curls upward from hearths, rising into the sky like ribbons, dissolving into stars. You move through the dim paths of the village, lantern in hand, its warm glow flickering across stone and straw. Around you, the cottages hum with quiet life. Inside one, a mother hums a lullaby. In another, the rhythmic click of a spindle continues, thread looping steadily through practiced hands. A few men share a quiet word near the well, voices low, their laughter subdued but sincere. A dog trots past, tail swaying gently. Chickens have long since settled in their coops, heads tucked under wings. You open the door to your home, the same worn wooden door that has greeted you every day of your life, and step into its warmth. The fire is glowing softly, not roaring, but alive. It casts shadows that move slowly, stretching across the walls like long-forgotten memories. The air smells of broth, smoke, and the faint sweetness of herbs. Your family is gathered around the table. There is no grand meal, just bread, a bowl of stew, perhaps a bit of dried fruit or a wedge of cheese, if the week has been kind. You sit down, cloak draped over your shoulders, the weariness of the day sinking gently into your bones. Conversation is quiet, simple. After the meal, the bowls are stacked, the spoons wiped clean, the embers stirred once more. Someone adds a log to the fire. Someone else places a pot of water near the edge to warm for washing. A child lies on a straw mat near the hearth, playing with a carved wooden figure. An elder leans back against a wall, eyes half closed, murmuring a prayer beneath their breath. You take a moment just to sit, to listen, to breathe. You rise to hang your cloak on a wooden peg by the wall, then settle near the fire. The glow dances across your hands, your face, your thoughts. Tomorrow will come, and it will bring its share of cold, of labor, of repetition. But it will also bring light, and laughter, and quiet peace. Someone begins to sing softly, an old song worn at the edges but still beautiful. You don't need to know the words. The tune is enough. You close your eyes, let the warmth soak into your skin. Let the weight of the day fall from your shoulders. Let the flickering fire lull you into stillness. Outside, the stars shine above the village, timeless, silent, and bright. And inside, everything is just as it should be. The cottage is quiet now. The fire has burned low, its last embers glowing like hidden jewels beneath a thin layer of ash. The room is dim, lit only by the flickering orange light and the faint glow of moonlight slipping through a cloth-covered window. Everyone has found their place, some curled on straw mats, others resting near the hearth. The soft rise and fall of breathing fills the air. A baby sighs. An elder turns gently in their sleep. Somewhere outside, an owl calls once, then fades back into silence. You lie on your side, wrapped in wool, your body tired but content. The day is behind you. Its labors, its meals, its voices, all folded into memory now, like garments laid carefully in a chest. Your thoughts drift, not toward worry or planning, but simply floating like dust and lamplight. Outside, the village sleeps. Not just your cottage, but all of it. Every hearth, every bed, every beating heart tucked under thatch and timber. Chickens huddle together in silence. Cows lie in their pens, their breath misting into the night air. The stream murmurs softly in the distance, never truly still, always whispering. The stars blink above like watchful eyes. You inhale deeply. The air is cool, tinged with smoke and earth and the faint sweetness of drying herbs. You exhale slowly, letting go of the ache in your shoulders, of the soil still clinging to your hands, of the heaviness in your legs. There will be another morning, another fire to start, another field to tend. But for now, for this one sacred sliver of time, there is nothing but rest. Your breath slows, your muscles loosen, and in the hush of a medieval night, wrapped in the rhythm of a life both ancient and ordinary, you finally sleep.